Just confirming that you're Team L. When you're ready.
Indeed.
Your home is your castle. Now, I'm not talking about a lakefront mansion, but instead the place where you feel most comfortable and most at ease. Homeowners should never feel like they are out of control of the costs that are incurred in their castle. Instead, they should feel like these costs are worthwhile and that they know exactly what is happening. Good morning, my name is Danielle. Today I have with me my business partners, Justin and Aiden. We are so pleased to bring you the Watcher. So the Watcher is an electrical outlet that allows homeowners to control and monitor their electrical outlets throughout their house. This is done through a wireless app. So through this, you can monitor all of your outlets in your house, label them as you please, such as Sally's room, upstairs bathroom. And this allows you to both see which outlets are in use, as well as operate them as you please from remote areas. Phantom power is a huge cost to many households. What people don't realize is that although your television may be off, it is still consuming electricity within your household. So this can be a huge cost for any given household. This product will pay itself back as a result within 2 months, just by saving the power that you can by shutting off your appliances, your curling iron, anything from remote areas. In addition, it saves you a huge cost because it's an easy installation process. Although we recommend you use an electrician, there's absolutely no need. If you're tech savvy, this is a product that is no different to install than any other electrical output. In addition, it has historical value, which is really the differentiating factor here. It allows you to monitor which areas of your household are the huge cost drivers when it comes to power usage, such as 25% of costs are allocated to your upstairs bathroom.
So you're probably wondering, why are we asking for an investment in return for investing in our product, which is an electrical company, when EMCO is a plumbing company? What we want to do is have EMCO partner with us and invest in our company so we can expand EMCO's line of products, as well as leverage EMCO's existing contacts in the construction and residential home development industry to expand EMCO's profits and expand our reach and our profitability as well. So what we're looking for is $160,000 for 45% of our company. Now we're going to be putting in $60,000 of our own money. We want to show you that we're vested in this product just as much as you are. We're taking as much financial risk relative to ourselves as you are in this product. Now this is going to be a phased investment because we want to decrease your risk as well. We're asking for $60,000 in phase 1. This is not the first year, this is simply the first phase to get our business up and running. Once we prove our concept, then we'll be asking for a larger investment to roll out the entire business. That way we can protect your downside and increase the overall upside by proving our concept before we get your money entirely. In return, we expect to return $2.3 million to EMCO by the end of our 5th year. Now, relative to the investment, this seems like a very, very large return, but we're going to show you today why this is a very much realistic return for ourselves and for EMCO.
So you're probably wondering, why would we be partnering with EMCO when we're doing electricity? It's because EMCO has a very prestigious history of dealing with contractors, being very accountable, and being very straightforward with anyone they deal with. And we've been noticing recent trends that homeowners are very interested in monitoring what's going on at any given time within their home, and they love to have control. And with the home improvement industry continually expanding, the contractors want to be able to provide their customers with top quality products that increases the value of their contracting firm. So We anticipate our end consumer to be around the 25 to 50-year-old male homeowner, making around $40,000 to $80,000 a year. And this is the kind of person who loves taking on projects. They love making models, fixing the stove, just handyman work around the house. So we feel this is a product they can install on their own or even hire a contractor to install for them.
You're asking for $160,000 for 45% equity. Do you have any customers yet? What do we get for that $160,000?
So you're buying into the business idea as it stands today. So we haven't yet developed a customer base because we haven't yet rolled out the product to sell it with our customers. What we want to do is sell the product to residential to contractors and residential home builders. And EMCO has all those contacts themselves as well. So what we want to do is leverage your contacts and your connections in the home building industry to make our product more successful. That's the objective.
Do you think, and you mentioned you're going to go for a second round of investing. Do you think that, at 45% now, do you think that with another round you're going to lose controlling interest in your business quite quickly before you have a chance to realize any benefit?
So the 45% is for the entire $160,000, not just for the initial $60,000.
But you mentioned you're going to do another round of investing soon, selling more equity of the company.
A second phase.
The second phase.
So what the phases mean is that we're getting the $160,000 in 2 phases.
Okay.
The idea is to decrease the risk by having 2 phases. Yeah.
Is this product already developed?
It's a product that, we've thoroughly thought about. So how it works is the power goes through, then it goes to a Wi-Fi enabled chip that broadcasts it to the home's router, which is how it's connected. And then the Wi-Fi chip is connected to individual breakers on the outlets that you can control remotely. So the prototype is in process of being developed. We are in the process of finding a competent manufacturer to create the product to our standards.
Is there a product like this in the market?
There are similar products. There's nothing identical to this. We do have some competition in terms of stuff that kind of has the same purpose or function. So there is the Nest. That is kind of a fully integrated house system. It's more of a luxury product though. It really doesn't hit the same values that we're going for. We're really going for that cost savings. So this is for the lower to middle income, whereas that is for newer houses that are fully integrating technology as a whole. So that would include surround sound, that would include alarm systems. This is for the other consumer that doesn't necessarily want to rewire their entire house, but instead wants to take on small projects that in the end will actually save them money. There's also things like energy savers such as solar power. Once again, this is extremely expensive and the payback period is much longer than our product is.
Do you know what the cost of the product is? If it hasn't even been developed yet, I'm just curious as to.
So based on our discussions with the engineers that we're working with to put the finishing touches on our product, we expect that this is going to be our pricing and cost strategy. So our sale price is going to be $15. That's the end price that we're going to be selling through EMCO's distribution channels to home builders and and contractors. Our manufacturing cost is going to be $6. Now that's broken down into a $4 cost to manufacture the individual outlets and a $2 cost for the actual cost of shipping and getting the product in the hands of the end consumer.
Does that include the software?
The software is a free app. So the outlet would be already enabled with the software in the hardware itself. And then as far as the software, we're developing an app which is free to use if you've purchased the product. And you'll be able to hook up to all your devices and connect wirelessly with them. So,
do we get exclusivity?
Are you going to be
trying to sell this product elsewhere, or we get exclusivity
no,
on it?
We're going to be selling through EMCO. Okay. That's the purpose of the partnership. So our margin is $9, and out of that $9, after we've covered our fixed costs, MCO will be making $2.25 of profit, and we'll be making $1.35 of profit. That's all broken down in the pie chart at the side. Further, we've also included a model that shows how quickly the payback period can be for a single outlet operating with a single major electronic appliance in the home, just to show you how we've developed our model to show the consumer that they can return their investment as quickly as possible.
What is the cost of a normal outlet?
A normal outlet?
Yeah.
So a regular outlet is probably about $1 compared to ours.
So in a new home, there's how many outlets, and you foresee people wanting to spend the $15 rather than the $1 or $2 when you're looking at the low income homeowners?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Like, several people would be looking at this when they're developing a house, but it really is more of a home improvement target demographic here than it is. It's great for new houses, and that's why it'll be so great to partner with contractors as well, just because this allows us to fill 35 outlets as opposed to just upgrading a few. But it does allow the consumer to upgrade a few at a time, kind of like a trial run. So if they wanted to try a few maybe on just one floor, it allows them to do that rather than replacing their entire house right off the bat.
As well, by going into entire housing developments, we can go into low-income housing developments and simply throw in the outlets right away, instead of having to have the consumer pay out of their own pocket in addition to upgrade their outlets.
And how does it save the consumer money again?
So the big issue with electricity, like say if you have a big home theater plugged in, phantom power is like, even if the TV is off, it's still sucking through power. So that's where this calculation came in. So we estimated that like the average price of like a kilowatt hour of electricity is about 5 cents per kilowatt hour. So in this calculation, we estimated about 20% of like all a house's electricity, like upwards to that, could be phantom power. So the $15 divided by the 1 cent per kilowatt hour equals the 1,500 kilowatt hours.
Does it allow the consumer to turn it off remotely, or does it allow them to monitor how much power?
Yeah, absolutely. So from this app, it'll show either a green light if it's in use or a red light if it's not in use. So if you're on your way to work and you're wondering, oh my goodness, did I forget to turn off my curling iron? You can look at your app and you can see directly whether it's in use or not and shut it off from there. It'll shut off the individual breaker. And then it also has a historical data aspect. So it'll show you on a monthly basis or quarterly or annually, whatever you please. It'll show you what costs are allocated to which area of your house.
So if we move on to looking at how we're actually going to do this from a supply chain standpoint, what we've done is we have 4 major nodes in the supply chain. We have the manufacturer, so that's the people who are actually going to be manufacturing our outlet. And we want to make sure that we don't have any hiccups in the manufacturing process. So we're going to have our main manufacturer and then backup manufacturers in case there's some kind of major catastrophic mistake that happens at the manufacturer or something happens, we can always be there for our clients. We're going to have a third-party logistics company as well to handle shipments to and from the manufacturer to MCO to make sure that the entire supply chain is managed. We want to partner with a third-party logistics company that will have the connections between MCO and the manufacturer themselves. And finally, we're going to be going from MCO to the builders and contractors that you have already established connections with. And so those connections are already established. That makes our supply chain even more robust.
We don't have connections in the electrical space. So plumbers really don't install electrical outlets. So how do you intend to assist us in getting those contracts?
With the marketing? Okay. So our marketing strategy, Danny can cover the marketing strategy. She happens to be our resident sales and marketing expert. So.
All right, so the key thing here is to actually show the long-term benefits that the consumer is going to be getting. So this will be done mostly through interactive displays. In the stores, you do have showcase kind of home displays. So we're just going to integrate this right in there. It can show exactly how much the average consumer spends on these power sources on a monthly basis. And then it can show the price you would be spending on these electrical outlets, and then it allows the consumer to see the difference right off the bat there. In addition, trade shows are absolutely huge because this is where you can actually go face-to-face with the people in this industry. In addition, yeah, the cost saving comparison is absolutely essential. And then we also have some guerrilla marketing tactics, including like a phantom power bandit as well, that sucks the energy out of your home, and then the watcher is kind of there to mitigate this. In addition, branding is absolutely huge. So our 3 branding aspects actually relates directly to our target consumer. So that is practical, innovative, and dependable. So those are the 3 main things we seek in our target end consumer, and it also happens to be the 3 main aspects of our brand.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand about EMCO, their main clients are contractors, and I don't know much about EMCO, but that individuals don't walk into their their showrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me about how you'd attract that into their business?
So
That's your consumer.
right. So the reason we've incorporated end consumer marketing efforts is because even though we're EMCO and we're going to be selling the product through EMCO, which is to contractors, end consumers need to know about our product. Contractors aren't going to want to install a product that the end consumer is going to know nothing about. If a real estate agent is talking about a house and he says, "Oh, by the way, we've included the watcher," and the person stares blankly at the person who's trying to buy the home, there's no point in including it. There's no point in paying the extra cost. So we still have to get the product in front of the end consumer. And having that brand and having that presence in the market is critical to actually establishing the value of our product. As far as the trade shows, that's going to be the most important in getting in front of the actual businesses that are going to be doing the construction and home renovation in the industry. So not only are we going to have a trade show booth, but it's also, we're going to have a trade suite. So we're going to be inviting the contractors up to our suite where we can interact with them face to face on a deeper level and show them our product instead of just at our booth. We can actually really interact with them and really demonstrate the value of our product.
Can you show us the financials, please?
Of course. So these are our financials that we've developed. These are all, so in year 1, we're going to be breaking even with our product. This is simply because in our first year, we're going to be rolling out our product initially. And so what we wanted to demonstrate is that the first year is really about proving our concept and getting into the marketplace. Years 2 and thereafter are about really developing our presence in the market and then developing our profitability. So as you can see, with our strong margins, the strong margins are critical to being able to achieve the kind of profit and return for ourselves and for EMCO that is going to be able to deliver those returns that we've promised you in our investment slide. And most importantly, we want to demonstrate that what we wanted to do was show the projected units are really the most critical point in we think in the financials. So in year 1, our 20,000 units is based on an estimate of how many contractors and how many homes we expect to be present within our first year by leveraging EMCO's distribution and supply chains and also our ability to penetrate the market. And each year thereafter, we're showing increasing ability to actually penetrate those markets and then develop that profitability.
Is the 40,000 salary reasonable in the first year, and then can you explain why it exponentially grows from each year?
Absolutely. So our 40,000 salary is for us 3 in our first year. We want to make sure that we can still, survive and be able to eat. We're going to be
all 40.
We're obviously going to be living on. We have savings, and so that's going to be carrying us through our first year. The exponential growth thereafter, in year 2, it's going to be us 3 as well, operating still through the EMCO supply chain. But in year 3, 4, and 5, we're going to have to hire new employees and part-time employees and then full-time employees to be able to keep this product running and operational. Because we're not going to be handling any actual manufacturing or shipment processes, we don't need as many employees as we would if we were handling those. That's why our salaries, the salary component isn't as high as it would be.
So what about product development costs?
Product development costs? So the product development costs are in our startup costs to develop the prototype, I assume. So we predicted $50,000 to develop the prototype, the outlet itself, and then interact with the manufacturer to get the first run of our product out into our hands and then into the hands of the contractors we want to be selling to. And this is based on our discussions with our work with our electrical engineers and our team to develop the product.
The concept is intriguing, but again, the contractors that come into our stores are plumbers, not electricians. So are electricians going to come into our stores for one item that we sell that's electrical?
So, by demonstrating the value so critically at the trade shows and in front of electricians, we believe that we're going to be able to get those electricians coming to your store to get our product. Perhaps not necessarily physically coming to your store, but putting those orders in. You receive orders daily, sometimes twice daily, from contractors who are on site. They're not necessarily coming to your stores, but they are putting in the orders. And that's what we're predicting. Not necessarily that they're going to come to your store because they heard about our product, but rather that we develop those relationships and then they're putting in the orders to EMCO.
In addition, we're not asking you to pivot your company completely into a different market, but instead just to explore this market, because the electrical industry has experienced rapid growth in the last few years. So it's just something that you can easily get into with those connections that you have and can be extremely profitable for EMCO. So today we brought you an idea. The idea is an electrical output that allows you to monitor and control your wireless or your electrical outputs from any remote area. This is hugely effective for households because it allows for cost savings and monitoring where the problem areas in your house actually are.
So it allows you to become the king of your castle, king or the queen of your castle. It satisfies the need of being in control, satisfies cost savings, and it is a safety benefit from when it comes to, you might forget that the stove's on or curling iron's still plugged in. So all that value added, and we believe this is a very value added product.
So at the end of the day, what we've presented to you is a product that has the ability to deliver returns far above what the market rate. Furthermore, by investing in our business, you're not only investing in the product, you're also investing in us three as entrepreneurs. We bring that kind of entrepreneurial motivation, skills, and stone-cold guts that it takes to succeed in the kind of venture like this. And we see the same thing in EMCO as well. For example, through the management training program, you're fostering an entrepreneurial spirit within EMCO, something that's become a part of the business itself. We want to be able to partner with EMCO, an entrepreneurial business, to be able to bring this kind of hugely brilliant opportunity together with you, through us, into the marketplace. Thank you very much, and we really hope to hear from you soon.